Deadly Hadley takes a clip of a conversation going on between Gaz, a reply from J Dub, and he says fanboys would just make stuff up and hope it pays off. Also, who uses Zubitech as a source? I gotta say, yesterday I looked at something that Zubitech said in a video, and I posted that video, and I was very shocked that this individual, said that you have to spend about $2,000 to gain a similar experience on the PS5 Pro on PC for Assassin's Creed Shadows. You see, someone like Zubitech would just cold face lie like that. I don't know why they'll do that, but I've continued to say that very soon it will be a very interesting, paradigm to see how they can continue this until they gain the attention that's necessary to scrutinize their ideas. For now, there are others who are more pertinent to the conversation. Nib has taken his beating in terms of his intellectual dishonesty. D-Batch has run away, and so Reforge is now the person that's under the limelight. Everyone is assessing what he has to say. Now, I'm not saying that it's in a bad way, but I'm saying it's now in light of the data out there from people like Matt Piscatella, the executives and such that are talking about the gaming industry. So what did Deadly Hadley see that made him go ahead and say this? So if Monster Hunter is selling, Gas says this much, imagine what GTA 6 will do. Mind you, a bulk of Monster Hunter sales are on PC. J-Dub replies and says the bulk of sales are on PlayStation, sir. And then cites Zubitech, who basically pulls this number out of his derrière and said definitely PlayStation 5 around 5 million copies alone. Definitely. Well, Matt Piscatella comes out and said Monster Hunter Wilds enjoyed a great launch in the US market. Launch week dollar sales were the largest for a title since the debut of Black Ops 6 last October. It's ranked number 1 in weekly dollar sales across PC, PS5, and Xbox. PC was the lead platform by Circana Retail Tracking. You see what's happened is the data has put a dent inside of the narratives that these so-called fanboys foment. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, that there was a reason that I decided that I would make probably the most boring content in terms of just sitting there and just running through numbers, right? Just sitting there and saying, well, this week again, what happened was everybody played Call of Duty, Fortnite, and freaking Roblox. Oh, man. Simply because you can't run away from data. You know what I mean? You can't run away from the numbers and the clear picture that things are painting. And these so-called fanboys have been fomenting lies and walking away unscathed because in their minds, they have to basically say things like this to justify why they bought PlayStation consoles, or maybe lie to continue their so-called supremacy console over this so-called nonsense console war that's already dead, that Xbox is already being beating PlayStation on the head with a stick in terms of content, in terms of innovation, in terms of expanding their ecosystem. Different story for a different day. But it's very interesting to see how they can just cold-face foment lies. This is 2 for 2 in terms of just straight up making stuff up by Zubitech. Telling people that you need a $2,000 PC. Even in today's trash market right now with GPUs, you still don't need a $2,000 PC to even look at a PS5 Pro. They're not in the same category. It will easily be done with about $800 right now. Ask anybody who knows how to build PCs. They can get you going with something very cool. Why? Because the market is so broad and you have so many players and so much product in terms of CPUs and so many options in terms of GPUs, both old SKUs and new SKUs, that even if you overpaid by a few $100s, you still will not even crack the $1,000 window if you're prudent enough. This is just so frustrating almost, but now I think it's funny because apparently this has now become a trend in some regard. That these folk would just flat out say and make up stuff with, beautiful branding and beautiful, graphics. Just because you can put together graphics, it doesn't mean jack squat. Credibility is all what the conversation is about to go into, seeing as folk like Mr. Piscatella have now entered the conversation. People want to try to forget that interview that was done with Greg Miller, but that's not going to be easily forgotten, especially in today's conversational pieces. No. If anything, I think more than necessary, these data sets and these data points are going to continue to come to light when all is said and done. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you actually think about it, though, I mean, if you really consider what the ramifications for stuff like this actually is or can be, you realize that all of these lies that have been fomented all this while has basically been, for nothing. If you actually understand, like, wait, you mean people were basically just making stuff up? Yes, because they wanted to go ahead and fight some stupid console war, right? Oh, sorry, my audio went crazy. So when it's all said and done, I have to say, what would the approach of the individual who's looking at all this stuff, what should it be? It should be one that is very, very keen on what the data shows. One that's very keen on how they can basically move around in terms of their gaming, how they enjoy and how they actually, relate to their gaming experience. And this is why the truth is much more imperative than some dumb console war that these folk are trying to fight. I mean, if you just take a look very, closely at what the market is doing, you'll see that this is all weird. I mean, think about this. March 1st, top 15 games ranked, by weekly users. You already see in March 1st, Monster Hunter Wilds is number 3, right? On the console side, on PlayStation, on Steam, on all of Steam, Steam Canada, Steam, Mexico, Steam US, Monster Hunter Wilds ranked number 2 here. Right, let me show you again. It ranked number 2 on Steam US. It ranked number 3 on Steam Canada. It ranked number 3 on Steam Mexico. So when you break down Steam by the Americas region, Monster Hunter Wild is basically running the show. When you look even at the time on both consoles, that's PlayStation and Xbox, my basically had to break it down into into 5 different sections to show 3 regions of Steam, and then show the consoles in terms of US. I think this is all US, yeah, and show US in both categories. You don't even see Monster Hunter Wilds on these lists from March 1st. Yet, these cats just come out and just say what it is that they want. That's crazy. Look at this one called Tripster. This one's already done, though. There's no credibility here. They just lie. Like, they just straight up lie. So, I gotta say, if anybody is watching this video and they know, Reforge or all these people, you have to basically admit that the biggest problem that they have is the fact that the data is now out here and we now know where to find it to be able to draw better conclusions. And if anybody does not submit themselves to the data, they are going to be seen as a fraud. This fraud is going to stop in the gaming conversation. You watch. It's going to rotten and expire and expose all these agents and elements that have poisoned the conversation for so long without being held accountable. That's what's going to happen. People are wising up, and people now have access to Piscatella. He left Twitter because of these fools, by the way. I don't know if you guys know. He looked at Twitter and said, these idiots are kind of some of the craziest people. I'm not saying Zubitech, but there were all these console warriors that whenever he posted data, they'd be crying and whining and saying, oh, but you did this and did that. And he was like, come on, this is all child's play. So he went to another platform, but we followed him. He's on LinkedIn and Blue Sky, and we can see basically what the data sets look like. Very interesting stuff. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace out.